Hi, I'm Laura Lawrence, founder of Mind Body Balance. Welcome to the Self-Love edition of Strong as a Mother. This virtual coffee and conversation event features special guests Sherry Chillick and Corliss Rassel, both female Saskatchewan authors and game changers in personal and professional development for women. This episode is a charity fundraising event for Stars Ambulance in honor of the team that provided life-saving efforts for a very special kid in our lives, Morgan Miller. Grab yourself a coffee or run yourself a nice relaxing bath. Tune in and enjoy the lightness, the laughter, and most of all, the connection. I start off by welcoming Laura Lee Miller, Morgan's mother, who exemplified the strong as a mother statement over the course of the past few weeks. I'm so happy to have both Laura Lee and, as a surprise to me, Morgan join our event.
Little surprise. Thanks for joining, Morgan. Thanks for giving us a little hello and a wave. You're feeling up to being in front of 30 women. Good for you. A brave man.
Dreams are made of.
Pardon? This is what dreams are made of. Yeah. So on January 14th, Morgan had, I know many of you know the story, but had just done the best Good Samaritan act of kindness and had stopped on the side of the highway to help another young man out of the ditch, and was tragically struck by a car. But this kid right here is one of the most resilient kids I have ever met, like incredibly resilient. And I'm really blessed that he's been part of our family and with my daughter. And I really wanted to make tonight special and pay it forward to the team that saved his life. So, and Tammy, Miss Tammy, right there, is part of the STARS organization. She's actually right above Laura Lee, you can see, and she's a family friend. So Tammy, we're gonna give STARS, and I'm gonna take a picture of this, and you can send it. We're gonna give STARS all one of these, because everybody do a raise their hands. Yay! Thank you to STARS. I'm telling you, and I'm sure I will never, ever, ever, look up at that, the sky and see that red helicopter again in the same way as I do now. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Laura Lee, would you like to say any words before we start? Because you're one strong mama. You are one strong mama.
Well, it has been a journey for sure. 3 weeks of all kinds of things. We are super thankful for the miracles that we have received, for sure. And yeah, STARS is really amazing. Without them, we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. So I'm super excited that with the money everybody's raising tonight and the money that people have donated, we're pretty darn close to $10,000 to donate to STARS on Morgan's behalf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy heck. That's a couple of trips, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So Morgan, I'm so excited you're here. You're welcome to stay the whole time. I mean, we're going to talk about lots of chick stuff. But I mean, Alan sat in one once, a live one. And then we went home that night. You know what he said to me? He said, "Why don't guys do that?" I said, "Because it would look a whole lot different." It would look a whole lot different. And it probably happened in a shop or back of a garage somewhere. Who knows? All right. Thank you so much, Laura Lee. Thanks for sharing a couple of words. Thanks, Morgan, for popping on. So we're going to get into it.
Laura,
Yes,
can I just, while Morgan's on, can I just say thank you very much to Laura Lee and Morgan and you, Laura. Honestly, that's not why I'm on here. Laura is a family friend. And yes, I actually didn't realize that Laura was doing this. And honestly, in my little family right now, this is what I need. I have a person that's in grade 12 and one that's in grade 9, 2 girls. So anyhow, for you that are moms, you know what that all is like. Or if you're not in there yet, you will. But honestly, I just want to say thank you very much on behalf of STARS, and that's really great. And I'm glad that you're doing awesome. Morgan, that you're getting better. And Laura Lee, Yeah, you're a strong mom. And I don't know if you know, but I'm actually Rob Beauregard's sister-in-law.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice
So,
to meet you.
really small world.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here for that, but just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone as well. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much, Tammy. Oh my gosh. This might be one of the most emotional virtual ones I've done. So I got to take a breath, tap my cortices. Those of you that know what I do for a living, I do a lot of tapping. Morgan's had a lot of tapping over the last 3 weeks. I was there today. Hey, I'm just like tappy tap, take some breaths, buddy. Here we go. But this is what I love about this is connection. Not a single one of you is going to get off this call tonight and not have felt something, right? And at a time now more than ever, this is critical. I was saying today, I had some clients in today, and all of them were mothers talking about how difficult this time is, okay? That everybody is going through some dark, heavy times right now. And we may all be in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. So I'm really hoping that tonight you take away some nuggets of inspiration, a little bit of wisdom, lots of vulnerable, transparent, honest, authentic stories shared right from the heart. All right, so we're gonna get going. And to do that, I'm gonna start with a Happy Mail giveaway, which means hot fingers, get hot, get ready here. So here's how you're gonna win the Happy Mail. I'm gonna be looking for the first person whose name pops up, but I want you all to share, okay? It's a competition, but not really. I want you to tell me, where was your most favorite hot holiday? Because I'm making a list. And when the borders open and everything's done, oh my God, you guys, I missed that all. Look at that, you guys were so quick. Corliss or Sherry, did you see who posted first?
Whoever answered Bermuda, I think, was first.
Who answered Bermuda?
I saw Jamaica, Anna Marie, Jamaica, 7:45.
Oh, you went back.
It's just that, yeah.
Anne Marie, Jamaica, 7:45. Anne Marie, you've got some Happy Mail coming to you. And I've never been to Jamaica, so we might have to talk. You tell me what resort you've been to, because I'm going to be traveling forever. So I will connect with you. You send me an email afterwards. Let me know what your address is, and I'm going to send you some Happy Mail. Okay, so in the email, I sent out a little bit about who I am. Really, I'm just super passionate about people and super passionate about connecting. I have been a teacher all of my life, since the time I was like 15, coaching figure skating and all the things. And so I feel like I am one of the lucky ones to be able to truly love to do what I do. I'm a body talk practitioner, an educator, mindfulness coach, inspirational speaker. I can now say that I'm an author. What the heck? Look at this. Yay! My first kids book. So excited. And I got to share this with you guys. I'm going to make a few people cry here because they're going to know this. The most amazing thing about being the author of your own children's book is you get to choose who the characters are, and you get to choose what they look like. So one of the most inspirational women in my life has always been my Oma Ellie. And one of the things that she loved was ladybugs. And every time we see a ladybug now, we know that it's her. So on every single page, the little people have to find the ladybug. And once they find the ladybug, they light up. But not only that, check out the grandmother. Check out the character of the grandmother. Those of you that know my Oma will know. Can you see that? So I gave my illustrator a picture of my Oma. And that's very close to what she looks like when she was a little bit younger. So that's just one little surprise. I see some of my family on the call going like, what? They didn't know those little special tidbits. There's a few more that they're going to see. So I want to thank all of you guys for supporting that as well. Pre-sale happens tomorrow. So you can check me out on social media and see that I'm going to have a little link that you can get in on the pre-sale. All right. So, I mean, what am I? I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm an ex-wife. That's interesting. But we'll save that for another Zoom. And I really am blessed that women like Corliss and Sherry jump on my crazy bandwagon and come along for the ride. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce these two lovelies. Sherry, she's actually from my hometown, Cutterworth, Saskatchewan. She's an author. She's a working mom, silver linings addict, Me Too girlfriend. She loves coffee. I mean, who doesn't? She's a nature nut, a bookworm. And if you haven't heard about her book called Flawed and Fabulous, it's a game changer. It is a game changer. You can find it off Amazon. And her story will hit you in all the feels. So I thank Sherry for joining us. And then Miss Corliss Rassel, oh, her accolades, boy. Canadian inspirational speaker, best-selling author. She has a book called Lead Your Life. And you can also find it on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to pick that book up, read it, and you will never be the same again either. She is a podcast host. She hosted me last week. Was it last week? 2 weeks ago? Oh my gosh. I speak for a living, but that was something. My heart was going like, oh, every time, do I sound okay? I even put a bra on before, even though, sometimes in Zoom, sorry, Morgan, gosh, too much information. Sydney's like, Mom, don't embarrass me. But, when you're working at home, some days you keep it real. But she is a podcast host of a phenomenal podcast. She's a success principles coach, dare to lead trainer. I mean, there's nothing this woman doesn't do. So we're really, really lucky to have them both here tonight. So we're going to get going with some questions. And I would love to see you guys drop some things in the chat. I already see that. People are dropping in the chat. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to get real and drop some stuff in the chat. And I'm going to ask some questions as we go along as well. My first question for the ladies was this. Okay. So when we come together, we connect, we share our stories. Every time somebody shares their own personal story, somebody on the other end of the Zoom call is going to say, hey, that's me. I feel that too. I'm there. My kids are there. This is hard. And that connection in and of itself really provides a journey to start healing and growing through hard things. So I asked both of them. We are almost 1 year into this pandemic, which feels like it's been 15 years plus a day. My 5-year-old said to my husband today, Dad, when is COVID going to end? And Alan, in his infinite wisdom, said, by the summer, buddy. And I said, why'd you just say that? He's going to hold the entire universe to that statement. So I asked both the ladies to share with us what continues to be one of the most difficult challenges for them to navigate with all of the rules, restrictions, changes in life during COVID. So I'm going to start with Corliss. I'm curious to hear, Miss Corliss, what's a challenge for you?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that beautiful introduction and for sharing, Laura. I sure appreciate that, and for inviting me to be here tonight. I would have to say, I consider myself a pretty social person. So at first I was thinking, I'm the person who hugs everyone. If anyone who knows me is like, we'll even hug in the grocery store. But I actually think the hardest thing is that there's not a cookie cutter, like how did you say that when you said that we're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat? I think that's how you said it. That was so brilliant. And for me, because I'm a coach and I really feel a lot of what people are going through and I can't fix it, that I just really feel a lot of empathy and compassion. And I think probably the biggest challenge for me is to try to support people, however, try to distance myself, from trying to fix it for everyone, because I can't. There isn't a one size fits all for anyone with this. And the other thing too is that because I work from home and there's really, quite frankly, nothing to do, not only are we not having fun, and I want to help people, so I find I work way more than I should. So I'm not having as much fun as I should, and I don't stop working, and sometimes that can weigh a little heavy. So I would say that that's probably at this point in time. I mean, this is 11 months in. I mean, at the beginning, it was different because I was trying to pivot a business. but now 11 months in, that would probably be the biggest challenge now. And I'd really love to just give everybody a great big hug and make it go away. But unfortunately, that's not how it is, right?
Well, I love what you said about the empath, the feeling of just feeling everybody's feelings and emotions. So I want you guys to share, if you're one of those, just drop an amen, a yes, heck yeah, that's me. Thanks for saying that, Corliss, because it is that. And those of us who work in healthcare, in education, in anything that's related to people, which is everything, we're feeling it, right? We're feeling it. And we're feeling it from the little people too. The little people, the teens. I had an 87-year-old guy in about 5 months ago for a body talk. And he was struggling, but he comes from a generation where you don't talk about struggling. But, he said, well, Laura, all a person can do is take one day at a time. And I thought, well, that's a mic drop moment. Thank you. And the other thing that gentleman shared with me was when I said to him, how do you find inner peace? How do you find inner peace? And he said, Laura, the key to finding inner peace is to accept people for who they are. And I thought, well, geez, Frank, I think that you should come on all of my speaking engagements, because the wisdom that he had to share with me that day was just profound. So thank you so much, Corliss. The work more than you should, I'm there with you too. I've had to really set those boundaries. So thanks for that reminder. All right, Sherry, how about for you? What continues to be the most difficult thing?
Yeah, for me too. I think for the young moms in the audience, pretending that nothing was different behind my office door. This is actually my office door for my corporate day job during the day. And from day one, we were still expected to produce and perform from 8 till 4:30. But I looked at my daycare tax receipt, and my kids were in daycare for 2 months out of 12. Which is an incredible demonstration of how much we had to squeeze into that year and just the stress that went into it. And I think going forward, the one word that I can give to is the unknown. So that's really hard for me as a type A personality and a planner. Some of you guys in the audience might be like that too, but as a young mom, it's this continuous change and constant shifting of schedules from week to week and sometimes even day to day. We'll get emails and that's from hockey, school activities, daycare cancellations, the weather this week shut down school for a week. So just pivoting. I call this my year of pivot. And it's kind of this unstable environment of not knowing if school's going to be open the next week, if I'll have a support system, if I'll be able to visit the grandmas, all while trying to manage and keep the sanity in the walls here in my home office. But the incredible part of this entire journey over this past year was the ability to know that it's all about shifting our lens and our perspective. It was the ultimate reminder, I think, for me personally, that we're not in control. We're really not. And the only thing we're in control of is our reaction, our lens, our perspective. And it's this, I feel like, constant opportunity to grow and accept that the ebb and flow of life that's just the way it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. So many people in the Zoom right now are like, yes, right?
Yeah.
We're still expected to perform the same, kids as well, yet everything has changed. Corliss.
I wanted to just add one more thing, because for those of you who have a tendency to kind of get into it, maybe you're working from home now, or maybe you've always been home-based, or you find yourself working from home. I actually had to set something with a boundary for myself. And Laura, you brought it up and you said the word boundary. So I wanted to share this, where I've learned now that when I go out of my office, so I go into my home, I am allowed to feel what I'm feeling. When I come through that threshold into my office, I'm now there to serve the people that I'm there to support. And somehow that gave me some sort of clarification, some sort of boundary internally, that I could, stop working, but also it gave me a separation to feel what people are feeling, but also gave me that self-care to actually remove myself from it for a little bit, because it can get hard. It's like watching the news nonstop. I mean, your mind is going to be overwhelmed with all of the uncertainty and the chaos and the fear. You have to give yourself a break from it. So that's one of the things I wanted to just offer up. It's almost like a trigger every time I walk through there. It's like, it's okay. Now you show up for other people. When you leave here, you can go and cry in the corner if you need to. And sometimes I do.
Absolutely. And I think that the key there is the transition. And so how many of you, by hands up, are working at home still during this? Okay. So the rest of you are, still leaving the house, working, coming back. So whether you're working at home during this, going to school at home, or going out to the office, there's that transition period when you have that little like pause between workday and then being back at home with the family. So I'm going to teach you a little mindfulness strategy right now, healthy brain integration technique, because that's what I love to do. And these principles and practices are simple, easy, effective, and they shift things and they shift them fast. So I do a little exercise with the kids of all ages, people of all ages, called your emotional backpack exercise. It's a little visual imagery. Okay, all you got to do is have an imagination and be able to key in with your breath. So let's say you've driven into the garage, you're getting ready to get out, walk in to chaos, which is my day every day. I take a couple deep breaths. So I take a nice deep breath into the count of 3. Let's all do it together if you'd like. Nice deep breath into the count of 3. Then deep breath out to the count of 6. And then I feel my shoulders really sink and I create space between my shoulders and my ears. Okay, so we'll do it again. Nice deep breath into the count of 3. Out to the count of 6. And then you really create space between your shoulders and your ears. And each time you're doing that and you're feeling those shoulders relax, you imagine that heavy backpack of emotional weight and everything that you've carried from that day at work is getting lighter and lighter with each breath. All right? You can even get creative and give the backpack a size, a color, a shape, a texture. When I do this with the kids, I take them through that. Because anytime we can hook in our right brain to guided visual imagery, I am telling you, you switch between sympathetic and parasympathetic systems quite quickly. Does that sound simple? Easy? 3 deep breaths in. Each time the breath's out, the shoulders drop, and you really think about that emotional backpack of weight that you've brought home, that you're putting it down at the door before you go through the door to your family. All right? Okay. Thank you. I wasn't even going to teach that, but Corliss, when you actually, this is the beauty of this. We don't rehearse any of this. It's all off script. That's the magic. You never know what's going to happen. All right. Question number 2. Oh, I like this. This is where the girls are going to give you each a practice or a principle that they do that helps keep them grounded, balanced, out of the crazy zone. So Sherry, let's start with you. So what is one simple practice that you can share with us that's been incredibly powerful for you, helping you to come back to center during this madness?
Oh, I have so many, but I know when I start getting really judgmental or critical over myself or others, that is exactly when I need to get balanced and grounded. And I know I need to start looking inward because I feel like our external struggles are actually our outside. It's reflecting our internal struggles. It's that mirror analogy. My number one tool for you guys, and I've told a lot of people that I've spoke to about the book so far, meditation. It is my number one tool. Oh my goodness. Insight Timer. It's an app on your phone you can download. And I actually put earplugs in and I fall asleep and I let it work on my subconscious. It is absolutely no work. The only hazard is waking up tangled up in my earphones, and I have to kind of untwist when I wake up. But meditating, and it's the most fabulous way to wake up with a clean slate the next morning. And there's so many different deep sleep apps that you can use. I would also like to add, I guess, asking for help. Before my 5-year journey, my healing journey with Flawed and Fabulous, it was something I learned to feel my emotions and to ask for help when I needed help. And I really started looking at professional help. So even this fall, I hired a therapist to talk about my feelings. And like what happened in COVID wasn't fun. Single parenting during COVID wasn't fun. And just having that professional help was amazing. I've never done it before. Or practices of reflexology, body talk sessions. I did one with Laura, so I highly recommend one of those. And then finally, know your soul work. You guys all know it. My mom's on here too, and it's gardening for her. But my deepest connection of self care is actually reading. That is the closest thing that gets me into my zone, and I make time for it. I call it the 5 a.m. club. I love it. I make time for soul work. I might lose sleep over it, but it's the closest thing and the easiest thing for me to get back to my happy. So that's for me.
I love it. And I think you said the Insight Timer, right? And Stacy just said, have you meditated to Sarah Blondin in the Insight Timer? That's what you're talking about, that app, right?
It's so good, you guys, and it's free. So you just download the app and you can use it 24 hours a day.
Thank you. And also, everybody who registered for this event is going to get 2 free meditations from me because it's part of my jam. It's part of what I do. I love creating and recording and including meditations in the work I do with people of all ages. So you're going to get a sleep meditation and you're going to get a gratitude meditation. So, and I've never tried my own meditations because the sound of my own voice kind of does spin me a little bit. Like I don't like it. But my husband says it's soothing, except for when I'm yelling, I guess. And people say that it works. So I'll send them to you and you guys can let me know if you love it. Okay, Corliss, I am excited to hear what practice you like to engage in to bring you back home to center.
I love what both of you had to say about that, but I actually want to talk a little bit about gratitude, because gratitude, whenever I'm feeling down or whenever I'm feeling like I wish things were different, I literally center myself consciously on gratitude, because in my world, you know, as a single mother, going through a lot of different challenges, whether it was COVID or pre-COVID, you know, just life challenges, I have found that the practice of gratitude takes what you have and turns it into more. It's almost like magic. And I wanted to share a very short story about this, because I think sometimes gratitude gets a bad rap where, you know, it's like, oh, just be grateful. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't feel what you feel. If you're feeling something, feel it. But if you concentrate your effort on gratitude and all that you have, you're going to feel different almost instantaneously. And I always consider myself kind of a grateful person. But a couple years ago, I had this profound experience that I really want to share with all of you, because it turned everything about gratitude, like from here to like here. It was way up there. And it was that I had all of these things going on with my business, and I'm a speaker. I mean, I'm a podcast host. I have all these things going on. And there was this, in passing, I had seen this phrase that said, what if you woke up tomorrow and everything that you weren't grateful for today was gone? So I had seen that, and that had really like impacted me. It kind of stuck with me. You know, it was like one of those passing quotes that it's like, oh, wow, that's amazing. Anyway, I had all of these things lined up. I was speaking, I had video recordings, I had all of this stuff organized with professional video and all that stuff. And I literally woke up and I had no voice, like none. It was completely gone. And obviously that was going to cause a big problem when I need my voice for pretty much everything I do. And I, you know, did all the things trying to get my voice back. And what ended up happening for me was I realized in that moment that I had never once, to that point, I had never once been grateful for my voice, ever. The words that I even get to speak, to be here with all of you today, or to do what I do, to speak to my children, to tell people that I love them. It's still just about makes me cry. And I think about the women who went before us and that they never had a voice to even speak or share their opinions. And I was like, that's what that quote meant. It's like, if you really center yourself on what if I woke up tomorrow and everything that I wasn't grateful for today was gone. And that changed my gratitude practice to a whole new level. And I am truly grateful. And if the second I start to feel down or to feel like I want to change things, I just recognize to stop myself and just remember all that I have. And life just feels better immediately.
Oh, all the goosebumps. Anybody else feeling a little tingly? I'm gonna, I'm gonna build on that by saying after Morgan's accident, I had somewhat of a similar experience where I woke up and I looked over at Alan and I said, how often do we take for granted the ability to move our body with effort and ease without thought? And I've been saying that I'm going to work out and get back in shape since 2012. Do the math, folks. Okay. You can only use the baby weight for so long. And it was like a frying pan moment. That's how I refer to all of those like big moments where, whatever life before that moment will never be the same after that moment. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like you will see things different always, just like Corliss shared. So I love that quote of, what if you woke up tomorrow and everything that you weren't grateful for today was gone? But we have this thing called the ego. And I do a lot of work with my clients in the conscious, subconscious mind, the egoic mind, and we tend to forget real fast how grateful we are. So even having that daily gratitude practice, amazing. It's time for some happy mail. Are you guys ready? Work those fingers. Georgia's reaching for her laptop. I see it. This is a good coffee or wine break. I don't know if you all can drink coffee at 8 o'clock at night, but I can. I'm conditioned. I've been sleepless since 2000 and when was Sydney born? 5? I don't even know. You know what she said to me today? She's like, can you not get the names of your kids straight, Mom? So yeah, I'm going to remind you of that. Just like my mom now reminds me of everything I said when I was sassy and 15, right, Mom? You don't need to take yourself off mute. She has this one story she likes to tell all the time, but we'll save that one, Mom. We'll save that for Mom. Oh my gosh. I'll tell the story. Mom, I'll tell the story. So one time in my infinite wisdom when I was 15 and I was feeling a little sassy and I didn't like that mom was always the parent who made me come home earlier than everybody else. Good thing my best friend's mom was the same. So Chantel and I, our moms we would say they would ride their brooms first to the party to pick us up. We actually said that. I'm very sorry, Mom. I don't know if I ever told you that, but we did joke that way.
Yeah, sure.
Chantel would be like, here comes the brooms. They're coming to get us, Laura. But one time I was really sassy and she didn't let me do something. Mom, I can't remember it all. Do you want to tell? I'll let you say it.
You called me a hypocritical, pathetic crack. And I said, well, when I die, you can put on my gravestone, here lies Mom, a hypocritical, pathetic crack. That's true story.
I don't even think it's true. I cannot.
Oh, yeah. It's true. Every last word.
Auntie Heidi is nodding yes. Tammy, what do you think? I don't know if we're going to support this. I'm telling you, when you're 15, your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. And I make sure that I tell all of the teens I work with, listen, you're supposed to kind of still be stupid, okay? Because your prefrontal cortex has not fully developed. So you are going to make stupid decisions. So it's our job as parents to help you not make those. So like you call your mom something that you forever regret. Thankfully, that was the only bad thing I ever did. Okay, I digress. You're always going to laugh when you come on one of these, mostly at my expense. You're welcome. All right, in the chat section, I would love to know, first person who I see, or the girls, Sherry or Corliss, what are you guys? Get ready. Your eyes might be better than mine. Drop in the chat section something that you are grateful for right now in this moment?
Oh, I see my kids drove.
Oh, yep. So, yep, that's Georgia.
Georgia.
Says her kids.
Georgia wins.
I want to see some of the other things. Family, friends. I want to see if someone else wrote some. Aw. Oh, Morgan, look what your mama wrote. She wrote you. All the tears. My jokes, Alana, you are so funny. You know what gets us through tough times, you guys? Humor. Humor and sarcasm got me through a lot of tough times. You know, some people just think I don't take life seriously. I do. I just need to laugh about it. My health, insight to give myself grace. I love it. Oh, my son says a roof over our head. Yes, to the sun. How old are you, buddy? That is exactly, yes. I love it. That is so true. 10. Aw. That might be one of my favorite answers. Okay. This is so fantastic. All right. Happy mail coming out to you, Georgia. So Georgia's getting happy mail and Marie's getting happy mail. Don't worry, you guys. I am feeling in a giving mood. We're going to go a little later than 8:30. It's just what happens. And if you have to, if you have to X off, I'm not going to take it personally. Next question, because I know the girls have some really great things for this next one. So I once had a mentor said to me when I went through one of my most challenging frying pan moments in life, and I just felt like everything was hard, super hard. I will tell you now, my reference to hard is different because I have worked with people who have been through every level of trauma you can imagine. And so now when I reference my hard, and my perspective has shifted and changed a little bit, but this mentor said to me, Laura, if we aren't growing, we're dying. And we cannot grow in comfort zones. So you better look at this and you better think how this is going to actually catapult you into another dimension. And it did. So often when I am doing speaking and I'm working with youth and I'm working in this mental health arena, I often give thanks. Actually, where it's due is also to my ex-husband, because it is because of everything that happened in my life that led me to this moment. So, sometimes gratitude looks really interesting. So the girls are going to share with you what has been one of their biggest life challenges, their biggest frying pan moments that they've had to go through. And this is going to be hard because, it's hard to sum that up in a couple of minutes, right? When you're a panel guest, you got to get real crafty and creative. But they're each going to share their frying pan moment, hard life challenge with you. Who wants to go first? Corliss, Sherry? You guys get to choose. I'm going to have a drink of my water.
Corliss, do you want to go or do you want me? Oh, you're okay. I'll start. For me, my frying pan moment. Are you guys ready? Drum roll. Miscarriages. I had 2 of them between my 2 sons, Bentley and Weston. Absolutely devastated me. When I was, I believe, 28. So before I was 28, I never experienced pain in my life. My mom, who's on the line, and dad guarded me from every evil that you could think of. I just had that easy life that you wish for. You wish for your kids to have. That moment brought me to my knees. It challenged me to see what was really important in my life. I think, felt like at that moment that I realized I was living on autopilot. And then I broke and I woke up, which was the most amazing feeling, not in that moment, but when I look back, as Laura said, I'm so thankful that that happened to me because I woke up. I was able to analyze from a state of darkness. And I love that statement, from a state of darkness in a hole. I was able to choose what those cracks meant, and they were actually, when I thought about it, the cracks that form in our lives from those pain and those challenge moments are actually what allow light to seep back into your life, which is this most amazing perspective. Because if you don't crack, you can't allow change and you can't evolve into a new being. And from that event, you know what, I think I really was finally able to address and heal from my eating disorder that I started at 14. I learned how to feel emotion. mask that with an eating disorder. And from those 5 years of healing, I was able to learn how to feel emotion, which was amazing. Emotional intelligence, I think, isn't taught, it's learned, you know? And then from that moment, I brought forgiveness into my vocabulary. And that is, I think, something that I want you to take tonight. And one of the most important things that I learned in my journey is to forgive before you were ready, before your time was out. And once you forgive, it's just the most magical moment, because you get to move on with your life with and through forgiveness. And I think too, the pain and challenges that we go through, we all have them. If you look at them as opportunities for you to grow, to mold, to shape, and to morph into a new being, you just have to look at them as lessons. When I'm in a painful moment or a challenging moment, I actually step back and I say to myself, what is this moment trying to teach me? Because everything, I feel like this is like Earth is like this kind of Earth school. And we're either the teacher or we're being taught something, right? What is this event trying to teach me? And what am I having to move forward to evolve into a better soul, which is pretty darn amazing. And then once you get to that point in your life, when you can look at yourself and that pain and those challenges objectively, you can use those lessons as pillars of wisdom. How amazing is that? So you can take those moments of your life and you can move forward in your life. And that's such a magical lesson, I think, that I learned at the young age of 28 and going on 33 here, going on 34, that if I could teach you guys anything tonight, if I could fast forward, and if you get that at any age, if it's 30, 40, 50, 60, you're going to live an awesome life. So that was my challenge.
I really love how you brought back to the idea of, you know, we can't grow in zones of comfort. And one of my favorite quotes is by Rumi, R-U-M-I. I follow a lot of his work because as someone who's, you know, rooted in conscious living principles and the work I do with clients, consciousness is all there is. It's all we have. But here's the quote, and I love it. The wound is where the light enters.
Yes, right? Exactly.
The wound is where the light enters. No wound, no light.
Yeah.
So, you know, and our wounds often, our pain, you know, can transform into purpose. In fact, that's where the purpose comes from. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys can read more about that story, you know, that she put in a little nutshell in 4 minutes. She has in a book. So thankfully you get to know her whole story, and you're going to want that book. Absolutely. Okay, Corliss. Life challenge, biggest one you've had to grow through.
Well, I think the biggest life challenge for me my entire life has been learning to love and accept myself exactly as I am. And for most of my life, I was trying to live to some sort of level of worthiness, seeking outside validation, having the best of this, getting married, having the nicest home, being the greatest mom. And then around, or when I turned 40 years old, everything fell apart. It didn't matter how successful I was in my business. It didn't matter how, everything fell apart because my marriage ended. Suddenly I find myself alone, my business declined. And that was a hard period. But you know what the harder part was? Because I really had to think about this. The harder part was figuring out who I was if I wasn't any of those roles. Because what happened was I was, you know, living for my family. I felt like my career was kind of done, meaning I had achieved everything I could. I didn't feel like I was really contributing anymore. And I was just coasting through life. And then all of a sudden my kids grew up and they're becoming independent. And I was like, who the heck am I? I'm like 45 years old and like, who am I? Is this it? Is this all life is? And that was probably my darkest period, trying to reinvent my life because all my hopes and dreams died. And it wasn't that, you know, I had some great marriage, you know, really I didn't, but it was all the hopes and dreams that I had ever since I was a little girl. And I was forced to kind of face and look at myself like, truly, who are you and what are you worth? And, you know, I had to learn to love myself. And that period was so dark, but it was so beautiful because it was the first time in my life, because I married at 19. And it was the first time in my life that I had an opportunity to learn to love myself, just me, without a husband, without, you know, a career with people around me saying I was good, without my kids. It was like, it was this raw, beautiful, who am I and why am I this way? And I really went into like a serious state of personal growth. And I just have to say one thing that happens. So because I was in that place, and I always tell my kids that true character is revealed when you're down, not when you're up. And I really feel that, because when we're flying high, like that's not where our strength shows. It's when we're way down here, right? And I was way down here. So I started really asking myself the questions like, now what? Now what? You know, who am I? What is this all about? Why am I this way? What do I really want? I still have another half of my life to live. And it's interesting because I was driving in my car. I started getting inspired, decided I was going to start my company. I was just like, and all these ideas were flooding in. I got this vision of like, I know what I want the rest of my life to look like. Maybe I could contribute to other people. I have all these life experiences, and I started getting excited. And I happened to be capturing all the notes in my voice recorder on my cell phone. My son was 10 at the time. He was in the front seat, and I was capturing all these ideas into my cell phone. And something came out of my mouth where I was like, well, I have more time now. I have more money. I have all these experiences. You know, I have more time because my kids aren't home. And I was like rambling all this stuff. And all of a sudden I said, wait, I shouldn't be sad. Midlife is the best life. And it came out of my mouth. I remember even seeing the sign. It said Noonlage, or however you say that. Like, I remember seeing it and I was like, oh my gosh, midlife is the best life. And what happened was I said, I think I'm going to write a book. That sounds like a book. I'm going to write a book. And my son's like, yeah, Mom, that's cool. You should. So I literally drove home and I Googled how to write a book. And all of a sudden, Jack Canfield's free training came up. And I was like, free? I'm going to learn from Jack Canfield, Mr. Secret and Success Principles and Chicken Soup for the Soul. Okay, I'm going to write a book. And then sure enough, I end up not only writing a book, I get to go to Jack's house. I get to work with Jack directly. Now I'm one of his certified coaches, and all of that was birthed during the darkest period of my life. And it just, that's when I reinvented myself. And that's when truly I feel like I really stepped into who I was. And none of that could have happened if everything wouldn't have fallen apart and I lost my identity through my divorce, through my loss of my career, and through my kids growing up. So that would be it for me.
And I really love what you said about like, who are you? Who am I? We're always changing. We're always evolving. Who we were yesterday is not who we are today. So, you know, trying to figure that out has become the secret for most people, right? So I like to remind people that we have roles, we have masks, and then we have souls. So your goal to find out who you are is to go to the soul. Go beyond the mask, go beyond the role, and go into the soul. And when you said true character is revealed when we're down, not when we're up, I almost started crying at that moment, because that statement brings full circle to why we're doing what we're doing here tonight in support of stars and this young gentleman who's still actually tuning in and listening to this entire Zoom. I'm telling you, from the day one, my husband and I have said, we cannot believe the resiliency that he has shown in his healing, but more so his upbeat mood and his positivity and his kindness. It's hard to be kind when you're in pain. It's hard to be kind when everything in your world has changed. And I was there, I think it was last week, and I don't think he was feeling the best. And everybody's trying to push stuff on him, you know, my daughter included. Eat this, have this, do this. And I said to her, you gotta stop that. Maybe he's not hungry, right? But he always just politely just said, no thanks, not right now. No thanks, not right now. And I mean, maybe you didn't feel like that all the time, Morgan, but I'm telling you, true character really is revealed when we're down, not when we're up. And that reminder right there just, you know, brought me full circle to sharing why it's incredibly powerful for the body and mind to be in a positive mindset for healing. There's a reason why 3 weeks post his accident, he is doing as well as he is. You know, the miraculous, you know, life-saving of Western medicine, but also it's the state of the mind that really controls the body. So I think that he's a phenomenal inspiration for every one of us. And so I am
so happy that you kind of brought that full circle, Corliss, in that statement. Love it. Okay. Before our last question, we're going to do some more happy mail. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Oh, Brenda, bonjour, je suis contente. I used to speak French. That was my minor. But you don't lose it, or you lose it if you don't use it. Okay, here we go. Are you guys ready? Fast fingers. I'm checking if everyone's ready. I want to give everybody fair game here. Make sure that you're just ready to go. All right, this is just a fun question because again, we have a lot of time on our hands and we need to help one another out how to fill that extra time when we're not out, you know, socializing, shopping, whatever. I want to know what your favorite Netflix series is right now. Favorite Netflix series.
Okay.
Mandy?
Yeah.
Mandy came on first, but I'm looking. Queen's Gambit, I've heard a lot about that. Catastrophe, that sounds like my life some days. Bridgerton, do not watch that with your children in the room. I'm going to just say that. Or your teenagers, your 15-year-olds, don't watch that show. Paw Patrol. Alana. Is that a series on Netflix? I've heard Virgin River too. Ladies and gentlemen, you should be taking some of these things down. Anne with an E. Interesting. Oh, nobody said the one I'm watching these days. Do you guys want to know what I'm watching? Anybody Kevin Costner fan? Oh, his voice, right? Just drives Alan nuts. He's like, you're watching that show again, I can hear it. Yellowstone. Has anybody watched Yellowstone? It's a little graphic in all ways. No, the little girl. She's so cute. I think you're nodding yes to Paw Patrol, honey. Yes. So I love all these. Grace and Fensky. I'll have to check that out. These are looking good. These are looking good. Okay. So you see, when you pop on tonight, we got lots of good solutions for you. We can, you know, change your time, waste your time, fill your time. We could do whatever you want, whatever you need. Okay. Queen's Gambit, I've heard a lot about, so I might have to. And I also have not seen on there The Crown. Anybody watch The Crown? So good. I never think the same about Prince Charles, though. I found myself uttering bad words under my breath. He was not being so nice to Lady Di. Good idea, Corliss. Reward yourself on the treadmill. Yeah, that's a good idea, except for my treadmill doesn't work. It's actually right in my field of view with my Body Talk, blankets right there. So that tells you 2012. I did run a marathon in 2013, but nobody cares what you did in 2013. Can't write a book about that. I once ran a marathon. Jeez. Okay, last question. Last questions. We'll go about 10 minutes over. Both of these women have written incredibly inspiring books with powerful messages for personal growth, self-love, acceptance, personal development. And I really do hope that if you don't have their books, once we're off the Zoom, that you go straight onto Amazon, put them both in your cart, because, you know, not only are you supporting yourself, you're supporting Saskatchewan women. Here's the question for each of them. If they could sum up in one statement, you know, what they were hoping for women and men, people of all ages, to take away from their book, what would it be? Again, this is a hard question. I'm sorry, girls. I didn't make it easy for you, did I? In one statement. All right. Which one of you wants to go first?
I can.
Okay.
First of all, I have to say my book actually isn't on Amazon. So you have to go to my website, corliss.ca, just so you know.
I saw it on Amazon.
Yeah, I took it off. I took it off. So just so you know.
Okay.
I didn't update you on that. Sorry about that, Laura. So if you want a copy of my book, if you're local to me, I can even autograph it, or actually I can autograph it no matter what, because we'll be shipping it to you. So it's on corliss.ca, corliss.ca. Self-love to me is loving yourself for exactly who you are, who you were, who you are right now, and who you're about to be. And I referenced earlier that self-love, self-worth was really a battle for me, pretty much like as long as I can remember. And it's the most beautiful thing when you fall in love with yourself and forgive your own mistakes and just embrace who you are, imperfect and all. And that's what I would wish for everyone. And I want to share an affirmation with you that I actually had to practice. I wrote it myself. I didn't get it off the internet. I wrote it myself, and I'm going to share it with all of you because it really helped me on my journey of self-love. And that is this: I love who I am as I become who I want to be. Because if you're like me at all, where you're always striving for like, who else do I have to become? What else do I have to be? Am I good enough? It's like, just love yourself exactly who you are as you become who you want to be.
I put that one in the chat. I dropped that one right there. So good and simple. Simple affirmations I love that we can connect to. Thank you. And yes, I'm sorry. I did think it was on Amazon because I just went there last week and saw it
Yeah,
there.
I just took it off.
Okay.
So yeah, I just took it off. So.
No worries. Well, you can still get it, corliss.ca, and I'll send that information out as well in the follow-up email. Thank you. Great nugget. Sherry, what would your takeaway be?
Oh, I have so many nuggets of wisdom. But in keeping with the self-love theme for this event, I'd say this. Okay, so open up your little ears, guys. When you own your story, no one else can use it against you. I'm going to repeat that. When you own your story, no one else can use it against you. And I'm going to give you some background on that. I used to live in a lot of fear and shame for a long time, probably since I don't know, 14. Once I owned my story and my background and what had happened, I was then in a position to confidently choose how the rest of my story ended. I was able to pick up the pen and write the end of my story. And I'm going to just really quickly, I actually read the book and tried to find my favorite nugget for you guys. And Corliss, you're going to love this because it's a Brene Brown quote. And when you guys read Corliss's background, you'll find out that she's actually a Dare League coach. But I quote Brene from Rising Strong. She taught her audience not to deny the story, but to defy the ending, to rise strong, recognize our story, and rumble with the truth. Until you get to a place where you think, yes, this is what happened, this is my truth, and I will choose how this story ends. And like, that is a mic drop moment, I think, for me, for anyone else on this call. Brene Brown, I mean, by her book too, this is going to be an awesome, you guys are going to have an awesome Amazon and corliss.ca trip after this session. But how amazing is that? I mean, for you guys, I think more importantly, our baggage isn't often caused from us. It's from the things that happen to us and the environment that we grow in and that we enter. But our ability to heal is 100% our own responsibility. And I think I realized that on my own journey, is that I can't change what happened in the past, but I can change what happens in the future by taking responsibility for my own life, right? So ladies, I think the thing that I want you to take from this call, and thank you for joining us, because I think the connection is just the most beautiful thing that we can do for each other, especially during this time. But feel the fear and do it anyway. Remember, it's not in your resources, but it's in your resourcefulness. It's not in your resources, it's in how resourceful you actually are. Ask for help. And last thing, there's always a way if you're committed, always. If you're committed to living your best life, you'll make it happen.
I love it. That's so much more eloquent than what one of my mentors once shared, which was, excuses are for losers, Laura.
It's true.
So we'll go with, I mean, it's true, but it's just not as eloquently put as what Sherry did. So thank you, Sherry. I am seconding that. I am so grateful that you guys all tuned in and you stayed on. It's not easy to keep people's attention for 60 minutes on Zoom. You got to roll with the punches. And Corliss and Sherry did amazing jobs. I mean, these girls have so much good stuff to bring, and to wrap it up in a nice little tiny package with a bow and give it to you in short bite sizes, they did a phenomenal job.
I want to leave you with my advice to get through hard times. It's about the only thing that helped me through some of my darkest times, which may not have been so dark as some of yours, but this is what helps me and what I try to share with my clients. Just be gentle on yourself. You're doing the best that you can with the resources that you have. And just because we know better doesn't mean we always do better. All right, I love Oprah Winfrey, but I can't say I agree with her on that one. Because we have this thing called our subconscious programming. I know better than to eat a whole bag of Doritos chips. I don't always do better. So when in doubt, when you are just feeling life's crazy and chaotic and you're not sure what to do, go back to your breath. Breathe. Have a nap. Go for a walk. Talk to a friend. Have a hot glass of, oh, I just had a special guest show up. Hey, Morgan, look who just showed up. Look, this is so cute. He's been on this thing the whole entire time.
I know.
Did you tell him to?
No.
No, you didn't. And neither did his mom. He did it of his own
I know.
will.
He said if I would have stayed there, we would have watched it
Aw,
together.
so cute.
Okay, anyway, bye.
See, I got to roll with the punches here. You never know what's happening in this house. In fact, like 5 minutes before I had to get on the call, I had to change. I won't even tell you. But when you have a 2-year-old, just everything happens here. But yes, just because you know better doesn't mean you always do better. Sometimes you just need a little mini break. You need a little pause. Tonight was a nice little pause, I think. I feel. I hope everybody had some lightness, some laughter. We had some phenomenal insight from a 10-year-old who popped on. Okay, you just never know what's going to happen on these things. I am going to do another Strong as a Mother in March. I already have the panel lined up. So I will definitely, you guys are all going to be on my email list, but good news, if you want to be off it, all you have to do is click unsubscribe. And don't worry, I'll see that you did, but I'm not going to hold it against you. Every time I go in, I said to Al, I had 2 unsubscribers today. I need to make my emails better. And he said, maybe it's not your email. Maybe they just are tired of getting stuff. I'm like, nope, that's a me problem. I got to fix that. So you guys will hear from me for the next Strong as a Mother. Nice big round of virtual applause for everybody who came on. Thank you, Laura Lee. Thank you, Morgan. Thanks, Tammy, for your words for stars. And this is how my daughter's going to roll her eyes here. I like to end all my virtual things just with a simple peace out, just like homies, peace out. She's like, Mom, that's not even cool. Like, that's not even cool anymore. But thank you. I hope you guys will have a wonderful sleep and hope to see your bright, beautiful faces again. So thank you. Peace out. Ciao for now. Yay.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks
Bye.
for
Thank
having
you.
us. Bye, guys.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Strong as a Mother. If you loved what you heard and you want to join in, I will have my next virtual event being held on March 2nd. To make sure you have a spot in that event, just head over to lauralawrence.ca or send me an email, bodytalklaura@gmail.com. Thanks again for tuning in.